Huge weekend here in Omaha, and the headlines, as I'm sure you guys were watching and saw over the weekend, Warren Buffett defending Goldman Sachs at this weekend meeting with shareholders, and there were a lot of headlines that came out that said maybe the shareholders were unhappy. At the end of the whole conversation, at the end of the 5.5 hours of questions that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger took from their shareholders, they did get a standing ovation. But let's focus on a little bit on what he said about Goldman. Listen in. Do you think Goldman Sachs committed fraud?
From everything I know about the Abacus transaction, the answer to that is no, and I'll go through that transaction in detail at the meeting, and we'll see what people think when I get through explaining it. It has not been explained well in the media, and so it's part of my job today to actually lay out the facts on it.
Where do you think we got it wrong in the media?
I don't think the media, I think it came out on a Friday. I think the stories were written very quickly. It was a 22-page complaint, as I remember. I read it, but I think people tried to explain it too fast. And the other side of it is that Goldman did not have an immediate response because my understanding is they didn't know it was coming. So they have to vet something through lawyers and all of that. And so they missed the news cycle.
Fraud is a legal term,
right.
But back with Solomon, you said if anyone at the firm lost a shred of reputation, you'd be ruthless.
Yeah.
Did anyone at Goldman lose a shred of reputation?
If they've lost it for a reason. I mean, if they lose it because somebody makes an allegation in the paper, I do not consider that. I mean, they may be behind the 8 ball for a while, but when they get all through, if they have cost the firm reputation and their position of responsibility, they should leave. But I have not seen any evidence of that.
How would you act ruthlessly if that's the case? Do you sell the stock?
No. Well, if I were in the company, I'd fire the people responsible, and we did that, at Solomon. But I certainly would wait till the facts got in, and I really think that we'll have 40,000 people here today. I think 39,900 of them do not understand the Abacus transaction, and I'll do my best to clear it up.
Do you think Lloyd Blankfein has performed admirably as the CEO? Yeah,
but I think that Goldman, and I can understand the reasons why, but in essentially the PR battle, I mean, if you're slow in these days in news cycles, you've got a real problem.
So you think they were slow in the news cycle?
Well, I think they had a problem, and if they heard about something at 11 in the morning, and it's a 22-page complaint, and they want to draft a response, probably the lawyers get involved and various, I would have tried to write something in a couple of hours or at the most, but because you miss that cycle, and then the other side's defined the issue.
Also, Charlie Munger spent some time, guys, talking about the very same issues, fielding questions from shareholders this weekend. And we got the chance to catch up with him and talk to him a little bit about what he thought about Goldman's situation, too. Of course, as you know, Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's right-hand man.
The vote was 3-2 at the SEC commissioner level. And so it's obviously intelligent people can disagree on that subject. I suspect that if I had been an SEC commissioner and been the swing vote, why the suit would not have been filed.
Now, that's not to say that Mr. Munger didn't have some tough words for Wall Street. He condemned not only what was happening on Wall Street, but what was happening with the regulators and what Washington is proposing at this point. Guys, at one point he made a comment where he said if he were the benevolent despot in charge of America, he would make Paul Volcker look like a sissy when it comes to the rules that he would be imposing on some of these things. We'll hear more from Mr. Munger and from Bill Gates, who's a board member at Berkshire Hathaway, a little later in the program. And, of course, Warren Buffett will be joining us live at 8 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, so stick around for that.